So you've just delivered this fantastic presentation online to your prospect. Everything went great. You worked through the slides, you periodically shut the slides down, you came back on, had a good discussion, you captured the information. Now what? Well, you're going to send them a quote, but you're really not sure how to close the sale because you were doing this online. There's no shaking of hands. How do you even trust if they tell you that they want to move to the next step? Because in a virtual sale, it's hard to build that relationship, right? Well, all of these things and more are something we're going to talk about, because when you close a virtual sale, there are some specific things you want to do to make sure that you close the sale. We're going to talk about that in this video, so make sure you stay tuned. Hi, I'm Shawn Casemore, and I help you become a top performing sales professional so that you can earn more in less time. If that sounds good to you, and I don't know why I wouldn't, right? Well, of course it would. Then make sure you click the subscribe button to this channel so you can be notified each and every time I release a new video. And if you like this video, click like, which tells me you want me to produce more videos just like this. Now, let's talk about how to close that virtual sale. Well, here's the reality when it comes to a virtual sale, right? If you've been around in sales the last couple of years, you've gotten pretty good at selling virtually. I mean, some of us were forced that's all we had to use for a long period of time. And that continues on, right? Some people are working remotely, not coming into an office anymore. They don't want to meet for lunch. They don't want to find themselves sitting across from a stranger that they don't know and they don't know where you came from. So virtual sales obviously is here to stay, but there's some nuances in the virtual sales process that you want to be aware of so that you can close the virtual sale. I mean, let's be honest. It's not difficult once you've connected with somebody to set up a virtual meeting. It's not difficult to have a virtual discussion, right? To get on Zoom or Teams. It's not even difficult to run some slides and ask some questions. What is difficult though is, unless you're putting the proposal up on the screen, how do I close that sale virtually? Well, I'm going to share with you those strategies right now. First off, when you're using virtual tools to sell, make sure you balance relationship time with selling time. You see, in the face-to-face selling environment, we often go see people face-to-face. We start with some small talk. We notice things that are behind the individuals. We might ask some questions about those. And we probably spend, depending on what you're selling, right? Because different products and services require different amounts of relationship building. But it's not uncommon to spend up to 50% of your time in some cases building the relationship as you try to sell. But in virtual, even though this might be our mindset, our buyers come in with the idea that I've got a 1-hour meeting. If I can get out of this early, I can go get a snack before my next virtual meeting. So we're limited in time more so than a face-to-face environment. And as a result of that, a lot of our buyers, a lot of our prospects are coming into these meetings and they don't really invest time in small talk. So you, as the seller, need to make sure you're balancing time. Now, how do you do that? You can't just sit there at the beginning of the virtual conversation and say, so tell me about your family. How long you been in a relationship, right? They're going to say, get to the point, let's go. So what you need to do is sprinkle, just like that, all throughout the conversation, questions, discussions. So you might say, well, hey, as we get started today here, I just wanted to make sure everybody's comfortable. You can see the slides, blah, blah, blah. You get started, you start rolling, and then you stop and say, you know, it strikes me, how does this apply to you? Is your past experience similar to this? Or based on who you've spoken to in the past, how would this apply? And I look for questions that allow me to learn more about the individual, which then in turn allow me to ask more personalized questions. Now note, you don't jump into personal questions. You don't say, hey, are you married? Hey, do you have kids? But you can still be observant about their surroundings, and you can ask questions throughout the presentation that allow you the opportunity, if they share, right? That's the criteria. They've got to be willing to share. It opens up the door for you to ask questions that maybe are a little more personal, and such allows you to build a relationship. So balance your time, right? You want to have that selling time, of course, but we also want to have time to build relationships. And you build the relationship time not by investing a whole bunch at the front end of the conversation in asking questions and learning more about them. You sprinkle it, just like that. Sprinkle it throughout the conversation, and you'll find you can build that relationship as you go. In a virtual presentation, when we're trying to move to the close, we've got to really focus on making the implicit explicit, meaning that a lot of information and ideas and such aren't necessarily open. they're not as easy to acknowledge. So if a buyer, for example, in person was curious, I might see their body movement change. But in a virtual environment, especially if their camera's off, I have no idea if they have any body language that suggests whether what we're talking about makes sense or not, whether they're comfortable or not, whether I said something that upset them or not. Very difficult.
She even gave me some helpful tips about acting and body language. Watch. Welcome to my world. Not welcome to my world.
Can be done. Very difficult. So we want to be much more explicit. So what that means is don't draw assumptions. If you think, for example, that your buyer might find your pricing high, don't try and skip over pricing. Don't try and spend 3/4 of your time talking about the value of your product so pricing makes sense. These are good strategies, but it's okay to be explicit and say, well, I'm going to suggest that when you see our price, you may think it's a little bit high for the market. So I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why that is. I'm going to show you the price, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So notice, rather than think that and just create the slides and walk them through, I told them what I was going to do. That is what being explicit means. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and we're going to do it. Now, the reason why you do this, again, is because everything is not as intuitive when you're virtual. We've got to be more explicit so that people know what's coming, what to expect, and therefore they can plan for how they're going to react. Third strategy I want you to use, and this is a pet peeve of mine, do not put information in chat, okay? Now, if you really want to, that's fine, but I'm not a fan. Here's why. If I'm on a Zoom call or a Teams call, I don't have chat open. So if you're putting stuff into chat, I don't see it. Now, you might say, well, Shawn, that's you. I've got chat open. Well, here's the thing. Does your buyer? And do you really want to be the one to say, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, please open your chat because I'm going to share some information with you there. I'm not going to do that. Here's the other thing. I see a lot of sales professionals put links into the chat. What do you think happens when I put a link in the chat? Where do they go? They click the link, they're gone. They're not looking at me, not looking at my presentation, over here, looking at this. Irrelevant, right? I am not a fan of putting information in chat, especially links to other websites. You want to share some information, it's a great reason to follow up, right? I'm going to send that to you after. Can you let me know you received it? Just click the email and hit reply. Then I know you got the email and I've got you to take an action step, which is part of my sales process. So do not put information in the chat if you can help it at all. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you click the like button, or you can comment below with what strategies have worked well for you to close a virtual sale. Last but not least, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, click the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. Would love to share more of this content with you, and the more subscribers I have, the more it motivates me to create more videos. So it's a win-win all around, but only if you like the video. The next thing I want you to think about when it comes to closing the virtual sale is think about your presentation like a funnel. Think about your presentation such as something where I start out with information and ideas and facts and stats, right? Here's the industry information and or what you're probably dealing with. Then I transition to talking about what is out there in the market to solve those issues, problems, challenges, opportunities, etc. Then I talk about my product and how it is better than, differentiated from what's in the marketplace. Then I move towards why this is a great investment and the return on investment of making that investment. Then I move towards my close, which can simply be an assumptive close to some degree to say, well, based on this and these calculations, this would be a price. There's nothing wrong with sharing price in a virtual presentation.
This is what the beginning of a fire sale looks like.
If what you're selling is a price that is something your buyer's not going to follow their chair. I mean, if you say, well, all this works through, it's only $1 million payable by Friday, then maybe not the best strategy. But the point I want to make here is when you're trying to move to the close in a presentation, in a virtual style, where you're using slides and such, right, as part of your discussion usually, what I want you to think about is building that funnel. Build a funnel that takes them from what's going on to what the competitors are, to how you're different, to what the return on investment is. What we're trying to do is build the mindset here that this is a no-brainer. There's no reason why you wouldn't move forward with this. When you build it in that kind of funnel, you address a lot of the initial questions and concerns. So you find people are less apt to take you back and ask you questions about, well, why is this a problem and who the competitors are? You've covered that. Now the only question is, do you move forward or not? And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, the last tip here, and I do have a bonus tip as well I'm going to share with you, but here's the last tip I want you to consider. When it comes to closing the virtual sale, it's okay to ask for the close in the virtual presentation. Now, treat it like it was in person. If you get the sense, based on the questions and feedback, that this is not going anywhere yet, that's okay. Try an assumptive close. Okay, you could say something like, well, based on our discussion here so far, in the conversation we've had, it sounds to me like this makes sense for you. Why don't I put some paperwork together and we can maybe look at getting started Monday? What do you think? There's an assumptive close. What's the worst they're going to say? No, we're not ready yet. We need more time.
I need more time.
Oh, okay. How much more time do you need? Right? So make sure it's okay to ask for the close during that virtual presentation. There's no reason why you should wait and follow up. If you need to send a quote or proposal, have something there you can show them on the screen. Say, here's what our standard proposal looks like. I've written this up for you already. There is the price we talked about. You will sign here. Does that make sense to you? Are you good? Why don't we proceed? If I'll send this over to you this afternoon, we can have Bob at your facility Monday morning at 9. Does that work for you? There's the assumptive close. So it's okay to ask for the close. If you're still not clear, use the assumptive close to vet out any further objections or questions and to try and move this thing and close it while you're online. Bonus tip for you if you're trying to close in a virtual sale: the obvious, have your camera on. The not so obvious, look at this guy right there. That green dot, be looking at that dot at all times. Do not do a presentation and stand over here. Don't be doing this over here. Don't have your computer back here where you're running slides over here. Look at the green dot. That helps build relationships. And when I ask you a question, don't you think I'm talking to you? Versus, hey, if I ask you a question, don't you think I'm talking to you? See the difference? Okay, amidst virtual selling, if you're trying to sell virtually, you're going to have to keep track of the activities, the goals, the targets, and your progress against each of those. For that reason, I created what I call the 30-day action sales planner. You can grab yours as a link down below. Simply put in your email. I'll send it right over to you. It's in a PDF form, but you can print it. You can use it in any way that you want. But I found it's one of the best ways to keep on track with these virtual sales in order to move them towards the close. Now, the other thing you're going to have to consider if you're trying to sell virtually, there's a video I created on how to sell virtually more effectively right here. I've had it around for a little while, but I think you might find there's still a few tidbits in there that is helpful to you. So make sure you watch this video next, and then I'd like you to get out there and let's go sell something today. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.